Here we go.
So I'm sure if you've been on YouTube at all in the last couple of weeks, you've seen nothing but Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door rants all over YouTube, and it's for a very good reason at that. Big YouTubers such as Arlo has made amazing videos talking about why Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door needs to return, and I'm not going to go over all the details here of why, but it just does, because they are making a pretty valid point. Because based on Nintendo, they don't want to revisit that old formula of Paper Mario, that classic RPG experience that we got all when we were younger, and it just seems like it's never going to return to the same formula. Obviously, we've seen with Sticker Star, and they do it once again with Color Splash, but personally, I thought Color Splash showed hope, and I think there is still promise for a really good Paper Mario game in the future, but will it ever live up to the hype of Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door? I just don't think so. The Thousand Year Door was such an amazingly unique experience, people kind of given up on any type of hope for a sequel because you really can't replicate something that good. Now, that's not saying they couldn't, I mean you can. I look at Breath of the Wild 2 coming out, it has really good promise that it could be just as good as the first one, but that doesn't mean anything with the Thousand Year Door because based on what Nintendo has been doing recently, it doesn't look like it's going to please the audience. So people have just given up on the sequel altogether and said, you know what, give us the original. Now, before we discuss why I believe it's going to come back and how I think it's going to come back, we need to discuss the why. Why do we need the Thousand Year Door, and why is it just such a game that needs to be revisited in this day and age? Well, I'm going to explain to you why, and especially for those that may not have played the Thousand Year Door the way some of us hardcore fans have. So right off the bat, the very first 3 Paper Mario games had something that none of the rest had, was an amazing story. Yes, that even includes Super Paper Mario because that story was potentially even as good as the Thousand Year Door. But it had an amazing story, and what did that and what drove that home was the chapters. Each level was divided upon chapters. Each chapter had its own individual story that was wrapped up in a nice little bow that tied and contributed into the main storyline. Maybe one chapter you're saving civilians in this creepy old town from this ghost guy that's turning everybody into pigs, and the next chapter you're in a giant wrestling arena battling your way to the top of the ranks to find out that there's a creepy plot twist involving the manager of the wrestling arena, and then maybe even one chapter you're on the moon, so it changes so drastically and there's just little stories built into each one. And of course the amazing cast just adds to it because they're not just all stinking toads, but you have these amazing characters with these great story arcs and their individual stories that help you to experience what they're experiencing, and it just really puts you in a mood. I mean, Admiral Bombery never wants to go out and see again because last time he was out, his wife died when he was gone from a sickness and he's just depressed, and Mario gives him a letter from his wife that encourages him to go back out exploring again. He helps Mario and he thanks Mario at the end for helping him to get back out and doing what he loves, and it's just an amazing story. Okay, but I can go on and on and on all day long about how great this game is. Okay, it's great, but why and how is this game going to ever get remade? Well, there's some complications first. First off, in an interview with IGN, Miyamoto stated that he didn't really feel like he wanted to remake any of the past Mario games. It's more natural to always create new mechanics and new games, he stated. So it seemed like seeing ports of past Mario games would never come into fruition. That means none of that HD 64 or that Super Mario Sunshine that lots of us wanted, me included. But that's not really the end, because just because The Legend of Zelda gets multiple ports doesn't mean that Mario hasn't. And just because Miyamoto has spoken this doesn't mean that it's out of fruition, because there are many Mario ports and we have just recently got one. Like I said previously, Mario 64 was actually ported to the DS, and believe it or not, in the recent years we've already gotten 2 with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and New Super Mario Bros. Wii U Deluxe, which is weird considering the fact that Mario Maker 2 came out just a couple months later. So it's probably best not to take Miyamoto's statement as gospel, because as it is good to work on the future of Mario games, it's also good to look back at where you came from and create ports or remakes of those past games. Look at Zelda. The Zelda team obviously is hard to work on future Zelda games such as Breath of the Wild and of course the new Breath of the Wild 2, but it's not stopping them from coming out with ports like Link's Awakening because they have separate teams for that. And I know without a doubt that Mario has separate teams because it's Mario, for crying out loud. There's multiple teams working on Mario games as we speak, so there should be no way that there's not smaller games such as remakes or ports hitting the big time. Now let's carry on with the why. Why do we need the Thousand Year Door to return? Out of all the Mario games, why this one? Well, there's a couple of reasons why, and it does kind of conflict with another Mario game. Well, first off, we start off with availability, because currently you can play lots of the classic Mario games on many different devices. There's eShop titles on the Wii U and the 3DS, and of course you have the NES and SNES classics to play some of those games. But one platform that keeps missing the list is the Nintendo GameCube. Yes, there's currently no way to play any Nintendo GameCube games on any other hardware besides the original Nintendo Wii, and it sucks. There's no virtual console for the GameCube or anything, so you can't revisit some of those great Mario games such as Mario the Thousand Year Door. Now, this goes for all GameCube games such as Super Mario Sunshine, but why is it that people want to see the Thousand Year Door the most? Not only is it the greatest GameCube game, well, at least in my opinion, but it is one of the most amazing Nintendo RPGs to date, and the fact that Nintendo is carrying on with the Paper Mario series and just getting worse and worse and worse, people want to see them return back to the original. But I think it goes more in depth than that, and I think within the recent years, two games that have recently came out on a Nintendo 3DS may have triggered this want even more. And to disprove Miyamoto's claim even more, Nintendo has released two Mario ports that came out back-to-back years based on past Mario RPG games. Yes, you've guessed it, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga and Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Both of these games were upscaled a little bit more to match the quality of Mario & Luigi Dream Team, and they were put on a Nintendo 3DS systems, which is weird because they really just ported a DS game to a DS, and it really didn't change that much at all. And in fact, at least for Mario & Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story, I felt it looked worse. I like the original art style better, and I think a lot of people think that as well, which is weird that they decided to port these two games on the same hardware rather than upgrading them into HD on the Nintendo Switch. So this is probably what clicked in people's brains. People saying, hold on, wait a second. Miyamoto claimed that he didn't even want to port past Mario games, let alone Mario RPGs, but here we go. He's porting two Mario RPGs, not only from the DS to the DS, but they came out in years back to back and recently. So people get this in their mind now thinking, can Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door possibly be ported as well? Now it's up to us to get Nintendo's attention, and for us YouTubers out there, whether we're big or small, it's our job to kind of let Nintendo know what the community wants, and that's what I wanted to do here today. I wanted to let everybody know that this is a real thing that people are asking for, and Nintendo, please listen to our consideration and help us to get this game remade or remastered. So one way to do that is right now on change.org. Arlo actually made a change.org segment page talking about how much he wants the Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door to be remade, and that he made a petition, and already 29,000 people have signed it, and the goal is 35,000. The original goal was like 5,000, and it keeps getting higher and higher and higher. Please, if you have any time at all, click on the link in the description to go to change.org and just sign the petition. It's really quick, really easy. You put in your name and a couple of information, and then boom, all you have to do is sign it and you move on. It is just so worth it, too, because Nintendo sees this. Nintendo gets this when the goal is met, and every time there's a new goal and a higher goal, they get this notification and they see that all these people are signing. So hopefully it gets bigger to 100,000 to 200,000 and even higher so Nintendo can see this. But with everything going on, with all the odds against it, I think we are finally almost there, guys. I think it's almost time to get our hands on an HD remaster of the Thousand Year Door. Can you imagine how many copies it's going to sell when it finally happens, and how crazy people are going to go when it finally gets revealed? I cannot wait. It's going to be an amazing time. It's going to be one of the greatest parts of either the Nintendo Direct or E3 presentation or whenever it's revealed. It's going to be amazing. But thank you guys all for tuning in today. If you guys are huge Paper Mario fans, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all things Mario and Paper Mario alike. And if you guys are big Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door fans and you're on the same page as us and you really want to see this game get remade, please click that link in the description below. Go follow Arlo because he talks about this all the time. And just go on YouTube and look up all the many different people and YouTubers talking about this topic, because it is something to get noticed. When people have all these views for this Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door videos, and Nintendo sees it. Nintendo hears our voices. They've heard us with Majora's Mask when it came out on the 3DS a long time ago. So please, just let your voice be heard. And just, if you really, really want this game, let it be known, and Nintendo will give it to us. But thank you guys for tuning in today, and I hope you guys all have a great day. See ya.